It is a dark and stormy night. Rain is pouring down on Rhodri Cadwallader as he breaks into Dunfermline Abbey. He moves through the shadows. Lightning spikes through the windows, and shadows are drawn as he steps forward into the main part of the abbey, looking down on the grave of Robert Bruce, King of Scotland. Rhodri, what do you do?
Immediately, being there, do I produce a wear-light? I think I do. I want Robert Bruce, King of Scotland, to at least have a chance to know I'm trying to be friendly.
Magic roll. Do you have a bonus die on this?
Is that because it's a mastered spell?
Yes.
Yes, I do. So 52 under 60, but I will roll my bonus die. 22 under 60, so hard success.
You bring a large wear-light directly over the grave. Bright white light fills the abbey. But then it bleeds into blood red, painting the walls around you. It pulses once, it pulses twice, and then it goes out. And a man is leaning against a column just to your side. What do you want? And let's cut to Isabelle Wood. Isabelle, you have gotten yourself into a little bit of trouble because you have now missed your 2 mandatory counselling meetings. And Nogach has been absolutely clear that you are doing this counselling, whether you want to or not, but you have been a little busy trying to unpick the life of your friend, Anam Patel. How has this gone the last couple of weeks? What's been going on in your head?
Well, she's sort of second-guessing herself because she's now beginning to wonder whether Mile is Patel's child. She just assumed that Mile was Lady Forth's child. But because of everything that happened on the Royal Mile with the stealing and the money, giving things back, she's just confused as to who belongs to whom and, doubting her ability to read people, which granted isn't the greatest. And she's just not particularly feeling that trusting of people at the moment. And just trying to work out where Patel might have gone to ground, because she really just wants to talk to her and find out what the heck is going on.
Yeah, so one of the things that's very important for you to know here is that Patel has not shown up for work. She's not returned since the incident with Cadwallader. She has disappeared. And you've been going through what you know about her. You have her name. You've known her for around 3 years. You did some of your training with her, so you know that she has been a police officer this entire time. And you are of the understanding that she is from India. You think she's from New Delhi, but she went to a British school there. You think she's a Muslim. That much you know about her. But actually, when you start to think about it, you can't pull much more about her. Other than she's definitely always had a bit of a pleasant, easygoing personality where she's always reflecting on people. So what's going on there, you're not sure, you're not really able to explain it. But actually, when you're looking at what you know about her, it's not a lot. Rhodri, there is a peal of thunder from outside, and you are looking into the face of Robert Bruce.
Your Majesty, well, it's... Is there a title you'd like me to call you by? You still go by Your Majesty?
Do I stop being king because I die?
Well, I don't think so. I think you're still referred to as... And in fact, I know this. You're still king, Your Majesty, Robert Bruce.
You Welsh.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I've always thought that Welsh, and Scottish, we have a bit of an affinity,
No.
Right. Well, let's move on from that then, shall we? A friend of yours. I promised... a friend and acquaintance, probably, really, of yours that I'd pop by. So, you must have known in your time that there were those who dabbled in the demi-monde, bit of magic and that.
The world of magic, of course. Get on with it.
Right, okay, yes, good, you're through the speed run. Well, I'm one of those.
Hey.
Yes?
More. I want more.
No, of course, I'm in your home, it's only right. Well,
And as you produce this wear-light and it fades to red, you can almost see his definition increasing. You begin to see the crown forming on his head. Where there was just like a general shape of legs, you now see the kilt forming. You see the buckle. You see a man looking in his prime. Bruce didn't die particularly young, but he's clearly always thought of himself as a young man.
Well, I was saying that I'm here about an acquaintance. Are you aware of a Mr. Leith?
Small town. Irrelevant. Just north of Edinburgh. Yes.
That's right, yes.
The docks. Very important. We thought it would be important. Gifted to a friend of mine because he was in charge of Edinburgh at the time.
Right. Was that Mr. Leith? Who was that gifted to?
No, it was gifted to Edinburgh.
Yes, of course it was. See.
It was a small, unimportant town, but it had excellent potential for docks.
Now, I think this might be what Mr. Leith has got a bit of a bee in his bonnet about. I think he used the word reparations, Your Majesty.
Reparations? To a river?
Well, he seemed pretty certain that...
You can tell that upstart little town, if he wants his reparations, he can come and take it from what is left of my cold, dead body.
Right, take from... I'm just writing this down now so I don't get the words wrong. From cold, dead remains.
Or wizard, give me more.
All right, yes, of course. Starter, main course and dessert. How rude. Magic roll. Oh, 96 over 60. Can I push that?
You should have a bonus die for the...
Oh, I do have a bonus die. Thank you for reminding me, moderator. Okay, so we're on 56 now, under 60, so just succeeding. Rhodri's nearly changed his pants.
As the light is produced, he dives for you and tries to wrap his arms around your throat. And you can almost feel it as it's just wrapping around. It's not quite real, but it's almost... And he's screaming in your face now.
Do I produce this wear light? Is it good enough for him? Or
you are producing the wear light. He's still screaming more. Beginning to take on more color and more character. There is more and more of him appearing. And it is draining you. You are getting tired. It is hurting. Like he is taking your soul from within your body. Take 1 hit point of damage.
Okay. I'm probably at this point going to try and begin backing out. And as I do, I'm going to try and use my new spell, which is not mastered, which is Shield. Not in an aggressive way, purely in a almost mimicking the not so muscular outline of Rhodri Cadwallader.
Give me a magic roll. Lynne's got a very big smile on her face right now.
Lynne has that smile every time I talk to Leith as well, though, and I start saying silly things. 48 under 60.
The shield bubble forms and begins to get lighter and lighter and dissipate, and now he is above you. Color has returned to his robe. You can see the whiskers appearing on his beard, and he is absorbing all of your magic. Take another hit point of damage.
Guessing I just run.
I will take your form, and I will return as King of Scotland.
Did I get the sense that he was chasing the magic that I produced, or is he draining me directly?
He is absorbing the magic you produce and is using that as a conduit to absorb you.
Okay, so I'm going to cast a fireball, and because I've mastered it, I'm going to fire it kind of like around Robert the Bruce, King of Scotland, and to the back of the Abbey as I run the other way. The intention is that he will go for that to absorb it whilst I'm doing one in a very graceful manner.
Sure, it can be a magic roll with a bonus die.
Okay, that's 86. That's not very good. 46, under 60.
And as you bolt out of Dunfermline Abbey, it catches fire behind you as you get in your car and drive off into the night. Welcome everyone to this production of Rivers of London. This is the 3rd episode of the campaign we are calling Waters of Leith. Tonight's case file is going to be called The Stone of Stone. We have our usual 2 buddy cops with us this evening. We have Lynne Hardy.
Hello.
And we have T.A. Newman.
Hello.
We are also joined by a very special guest, the man who we talk to constantly because he is also our producer, Steve.
Hey, glad to be with you.
Steve, would you like to give us a quick overview of the character who you will be playing this evening?
Sure. Nathan, Nate to his friends, is from the US. He's ex-military, works now with the intelligence community. So what Leith is to these folks, Potomac is to him.
I have given you behind the scenes, Steve, some extra information that for the wonders of dramatic irony, we are now going to share with the audience and the players, but their characters cannot possibly know. Because, of course, the CIA can tell the future. No, they're not willing to tell you how it happens. The Stone of Scone is going to be stolen. Your job is to make sure that it is stolen. It has to happen. And it has to be recovered in the correct manner, which we will not be telling our audience quite yet, but you are aware of what that is. You have been sent to Edinburgh, which you had to look up on a map. You have been given diplomatic credentials so that you can work with the local police force. But now that you have landed in Edinburgh and you've adjusted to this late summer air, which is still far colder than you're used to, what approach are you taking to your mission, what you're meant to be doing, what's going on here in, is it England?
That's what it looks like on the map anyway. What, and all that. He takes another look at the file folder he's been given, tucks it away. If I had to sum him up in one word, he's big. 6'6", 300 pounds of muscle. Black suit, black tie, black glasses. He's not exactly subtle.
You landed about 48 hours before the incident occurred, and for some reason there are an awful lot of people here in Edinburgh landing with you. The flight up from London is incredibly busy. You're not sure why that's the case. There might be some local tradition going on or something.
That's all right. I know how to blend into a crowd, he says as he towers over the crowd. Does the file I've got tell me anything about where the stone is held, displayed, where this is going to happen?
Yes, it is going to happen and has to happen at St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh.
St. Giles Cathedral in Edinburgh, huh? All right. He is going to go and case the joint, trying to be subtle, not very well. If there's a tourist side to the place, he's going to go and quietly take a tour, just get the lay of the land.
So we're going to find out what's happening at St. Giles Cathedral in a second. But first, can we just make sure everyone is up to date with their luck? So Steve, to calculate your luck, you take 50 and you add 2d10. And then also Rhodri and Isabelle, you can roll your luck. And if you get higher than the value you had at the end of last game, you can have your new luck scores.
I only had 38 left at the end of the last one.
Because you were burning luck like a crazy woman.
So I now have 56. Woohoo!
So I had 31, so 64.
Very nice.
I was feeling rather pleased with my 63. Oh, well.
He's always got to one-up you, Steve. It's just Newman's natural aura. And you can't get out of this one, Isabelle, because the entire police force has been brought in for this. They've been brought in from all over the place. Because, for some reason, despite the fact that the king was crowned just a few months ago, apparently the Scottish have their own crowning of the king. It has to be done separately. So they've got a whole thing planned, and it is proving to be an absolute nightmare. No Gatch has been placed in charge of everything, so everybody is on edge. The entirety of central Edinburgh and the Old Town has been placed under lockdown. There are barriers for getting people in and out. And the two of you have been brought in to do a full assessment of the entire Old Town to make sure no, and I quote, magic shit disrupts the king's crowning. There are 3 days until the king is crowned. The Stone of Scone will move from St. Giles Cathedral. It will go up the mile to the castle, where the king will then be crowned in front of Edinburgh Castle and become officially the King of Scotland. You do not understand why this needs to happen. There was already one down south. Why is there another one going on up here? It didn't happen last time. It's just an absolute waste. It shut down the entire city. And the majority of Edinburgh residents, as far as they're concerned, their entire city has been put into lockdown again for about 5 days. They cannot get anywhere. There is jam-packed tourists everywhere out of festival season, and they get pissed off enough when it happens in festival season, but it's even worse because it's just completely shut down. And you have to patrol it. And it is when the two of you are patrolling up and down, doing vestigial assessments of the entire Old Town, that you spot a very large man in a suit that does not quite fit him. It's like an XL suit on an XXL man, wearing black glasses, towering above everyone else. And you swear, Isabelle, that he is staring at you.
I don't like the look of him, Sarge.
Who are you looking at there then?
Big chap in the tiny suit.
What, that one there in the dark glasses?
Yeah, that's him. He couldn't be more overtly covert if he tried.
He's probably in like a stage production or something, isn't he? Like, dressed like the villain or something, you know, from Agatha Christie.
Oh, do you think he's some sort of social media reporter type?
Oh, might be. Should we go say hello?
We probably ought to. I'm still not quite sure how we're meant to keep every magical thing out of the old town for 3 days. I mean, there's tunnels all over this place. There's only the two of us. I would ask the Pixies, but they're not exactly reliable.
Oh, God, no, we want them here. I think it's, you know, we take those most visible, like this guy, you know, if he's magical, you know, he stands out, doesn't he? So we need to, like, you know, bump him down the road.
Maybe we ought to do an IVA on him before we approach him, just so we know we're not.
Oh, very good. Very good.
Has Rhodri told Isabelle about what he did at Dunfermline?
Yeah, I think Rhodri kind of confides in Isabelle. I think there's very much this idea that when he was trained in the kind of Newtonian manner, a lot of it was by experience and a lot of it was from people like the stories about Nightingale. So he would almost have told you probably in a lesson format.
So basically what you're saying is that Rhodri is acting as a cautionary tale to Isabelle?
Yes, 100%, but making out that he's being a teacher rather than a buffoon.
Okie dokie. We don't want any repeats of the incident at Dunfermline, do we, sir?
Oh, no, you're right.
And we don't want to be setting anything on the mile on fire, because Nogatch already doesn't like you, and I think that would be really bad.
I think that might be a bit strong. I don't know about doesn't like. I think perhaps misunderstood, you know? Cultural difference.
Let's call it that, yes.
Would you like to do the honours, Isabelle, or shall I?
Well, if you don't mind, sir, I wouldn't mind giving it a go.
Oh, very good. Can I watch Isabelle's kind of technique and approach to this? There is a right and a wrong way to do this.
She's going the full Yoda.
Sure, you're doing a sense vestigia?
I am doing a sense vestigia, and that's a 32 out of 70. Hard success.
Because you have a hard success, I'm going to give you a little bit of a choice. Your initial step towards him and getting into his general area doesn't yield anything except background Edinburgh. But you feel comfortable knowing that if you step right towards him and grabbed him, even if it's just on the arm, you would definitely be able to get a feeling of him. But you already know there is nothing particularly magical. He's not doing any magic at present.
Mm-hmm. I think she's going to try... Well, heck no, she's not really trusting of people. She is just going to go for that.
Yeah, so you just grab him on the arm, and as you do, you get an overwhelming feeling of space, gunfire, and an immovable object. But the gunfire is the sound and the smell more than it is the actual bullet firing. Nate, the policewoman Wood has just grabbed you on the arm.
So like I say, big guy made of muscle. The muscles twitch at being touched. Old instincts die hard. He starts to turn, and then he gives you the biggest, warmest smile, which somehow coming from this guy is in itself a little bit unsettling. He's very good with people, but he does not look like somebody who should be very good with people. Quite a crowd, isn't it, officer?
Yes, sir. Well, it's a busy time of year. Can I ask what your business is on the Royal Mile today?
He hesitates just a second longer than you would think that he might. Coming to see you lot, actually. Nathan Reed, here on behalf of the State Department, flashes a diplomatic credential. Liaison with your local police. I got to see Captain Nogatch.
Oh,
Right. I'll radio in, basically. I have a gentleman called Mr. Reed here to see Captain Nogach. Does anyone know where we're supposed to deliver him?
There is about 20 minutes of confusion. There is a very awkward period where, Nate, you present your credentials to Nogach. She looks at them, she balks, she swears at you worse than anyone has ever sweared at you in your life. And it's probably the first time you feel nervous in a very, very long time.
Can I offer worse than any human has ever sworn to me? I've met Hudson.
That would be the Hudson River. Yes. Swears at you worse than a human has ever sworn at you before throwing your credentials at Cadwallader and saying, he's your problem. Fucking hell, you brought the Yanks into this? Cadwallader, what the fuck? And then storms off.
Lovely to see you too, Nogach. Right.
Did you bring him in, sir?
I don't remember we're bringing the Americans in. I don't really, I mean, Mr. Reed, did I could?
I didn't quite catch your name there, sir.
Oh, sorry, I'm D.S. Rhodri Cadwallader.
Rodney, good to meet you. He puts out a gigantic hand.
Rhodri.
That's what I said. Nice to meet you.
Right. Lovely to meet you too, Mr. Reed. So, did I reach out to you? Did I bring you in? I don't seem to remember that, and I remember things pretty well, don't I, Isabelle? I DC would.
Isabelle makes non-committal noises
You see? I remember everything.
whilst maintaining a very straight face.
Happy to discuss when we're not quite so crowded. He takes a look around at the enormous mass of people.
All right.
But I do bring you some greetings, Rodney, from some friends along the Potomac.
Rhodri.
That's what I said.
So maybe we ought to take him back to the manse.
Right, we better go for get ourselves a coffee. You Americans like your coffee, don't you?
Sure. Black's fine.
Oh my God. Right. Isabelle, I think we better take him back to the manse and make him a proper coffee.
I think that's probably the safest bet, sir. Let me go ahead to warn the pixies to be on their best behaviour.
Smash cut to 12 pixies standing one on top of one another in the main hall of the manse, trying to arm wrestle Nate.
His game,
It's going to be a strength roll. You need a hard success to not get injured.
Go on, you little buggers.
that's a 37 under 70, but with 2 points of luck, it is a hard success at 35.
Epic. Nate's hand just does not move as the pixies swarm up, basically a dozen of them forming together and just pushing this wrist. And they hold there for a good 20 seconds. Demimon versus Mortal Coil, and they push and they drive and they drive. Come on, lads, get away! Nae kings, nae queens, nae masters! Before the dozen are joined by another 3, 4, 5, and slowly, inch by inch, Nate is driven.
Oh, right, boys. That's a bit too many, isn't it? That's you bending the rules there.
And they all make sheep noises at you, Rhodri, before celebrating, stealing the whiskey that Isabelle was holding and running off back into the walls of the manse.
That's enough of that, you little buggers. We'll not have any of that noise around here.
That's it. They're on mint polos and we're locking the whiskey away.
Did you hear that, you little buggers? Yeah, you better run.
And there's just the loudest burp you've ever heard coming from the walls.
Y'all do know how to make somebody feel welcome. Feels very much like offices in Langley.
I'm going to hand him like a really milky, kind of over-stylized perfectionist coffee and just assume that that's what he asked for, even though I know he asked for a black coffee. Here you go, Mr. Reed. A nice little coffee for you there. Isabelle, there's one for you too, unless you'd like something different.
Thanks, sir.
Mr. Reed, you mentioned a welcome or a hello from your friends, you said?
Officially, like I say, here is a diplomatic liaison, set up some communications. But some of my friends there in Langley are rather interested in you, Rodney. I'm reading some of your reports. Very impressive.
Rhodri.
That's what I said.
Right. So, that's great. I didn't realise we were getting famous outside of, this little country, let alone, the island itself. I feel a bit unprepared for that. Isabelle, how do you feel about that? People in Langley talking about us and our work.
I hope they're thoroughly enjoying reading about us, sir.
Oh, yes, I suppose.
She's not happy about this.
And it makes very little sense. The CIA absolutely should not be getting their hands on those reports, but
Yeah.
for clarification, the CIA definitely got their hands on those reports.
Okay.
Yeah, Isabelle is even less trusting of anybody around her now. You'll forgive me for mentioning that your timing seems a little fortuitous.
I go where they send me, when they send me. He's focusing very much on Rhodri, and he has also put aside the coffee untouched. He's not trying to be rude, but...
Let's put this beautifully awkward conversation to one side for a little bit and cut to that evening. Nate, it is tonight, as in the thing.
Mhm.
And Rhodri, you have been called into Nogash's temporary headquarters, which is basically just one of the porta cabins sat outside St. Giles Cathedral. She's sitting at her desk, signing an awful lot of papers, shouting at various interns that come in and out. And you have been called to see her. You stand before her and she says, "Fucking hell, Cadwallader, right? Listen up. There are reports coming in that some Republican agitators are planning something. I do not know what, but I need you and I need Wood here all night. It is literally 48 hours before the king is crowned in Scotland, and it will not go wrong in my city like it did in London. You understand?
Yes, yes.
We are going to stop them doing anything before they manage to do it, and we are not going to end up getting sued. You understand me?"
Right. And in London, were there specifics on that in the end, were there?
Yes, the Met Police shot their shot. They came to the exact wrong conclusions. They arrested the Republicans, and now they're getting sued for millions. It's an absolute farce. That will not happen in my city, Cadwallader. You will detect what's going to happen before it's going to happen, and you will only deal with situations when they have actually broken the law. Are we understood?
Right. So stop before, but not until they break the law.
And Cadwallader,
Yes?
try not to burn down any more churches.
Right. Thank you. Good advice. I'll feed that back to Isabelle.
So that is the reason why you and Isabelle are standing in the pouring rain at 11 o'clock outside St. Giles Cathedral, joined, of course, by your brand new friend, Nate Reed.
Who's trying very hard to look inconspicuous and utterly failing.
So, Nate, you, apart from your American tasting and your coffee, what's brought you out here, just to stand in the rain? You not got rain in America?
I'm sorry, son. You're going to have to give that to me again. And he kind of shifts a little bit to get slightly better light, which seems irrelevant, but I didn't quite catch that.
Just, what brings you out here? Obviously we've got a job to do, and it's lovely to meet you and speak to you about America and, know that the demi-monde has its existence out there and whatnot. But what is it that we can do for you, You might have noticed it, but kind of smack in the middle of something here.
So, you send some folks over to DC sometimes to keep an eye on our inaugurations. We return the favor sometimes.
Right, that's right. I haven't got a clue whether that's something that we've done, but I'm just confirming it and nodding to Isabelle. Right.
Sir, could I just have a quick word, please?
All right. Excuse us, Mr. Reed. Business.
And Isabelle and Rhodri, let's say that you walk into the cathedral and are heading down the main abbey, staring at where the Stone of Stone is on display in a glass cabinet at the front of the building.
What do you want to say, Isabelle? Something that we can't say in front of Mr. Reed?
Well, yes, we've not had a second without him all day. I think he's a practitioner of some sort, sir.
Oh, go on.
Well, when I touched him, there was distinct vestigia there.
It was very faint.
It was faint, but it was definitely there. Well, apart from the whole fact that the CIA shouldn't have our reports anyway, and he's sending his greetings from the Potomac. No, I don't trust him. I don't know why he's here.
Well, you know, I think the alarm bells that are ringing with you, Isabelle, seem to be ringing with me. It seems so unusual. He's just appeared and seems to be tagging us along, and just because Novach doesn't know what to do with him, it seems like we've got this bloody, bloody size of me. He's not even a third wheel, is he? He's like a fifth wheel.
Nate, you check your watch and it starts counting down from 30.
I'm making my way through the crowd, got my radar working. It's not the primary thing that I do now, but I know how to work security. I know how to feel out anything brewing. Got my eyes open, got my ears open.
As it hits 10, 9, 8, you step into St. Giles Cathedral and you look as Rhodri and Isabelle are quietly muttering towards each other. And you see, erupting from a hidden door behind one of the curtains, a group of young men and women in bright blue t-shirts begin running towards the Stone of Scone. And as they are running, the first one casts a stone towards the glass case, and the other one throws a pot of paint towards the rock. And in these 5 seconds you have to react. Isabelle, what do you do?
That's definitely criminal damage. We can do them for that. I would like to cast Tanglefoot on the one with the paint to basically wrap their feet up with a magical bolo and make them fall flat on their face.
Excellent. Give me a magic roll.
Which is where I'm going to wish I'd actually spent development points on magic, isn't it? Oh, that's a 69, and I am quite prepared to spend that 9 points of luck, turn that into a success.
Can I suggest you don't? And I'll let you know why as this whole thing goes on a second.
Oh, okie dokie. I will always listen to my GM.
As the Tanglefoot disrupts Rhodri, what do you do?
I'd like to think Rhodri's learning, and as they're running in and doing that, and I see Isabelle moving towards it to deal with it, I'm going to take a step back, and I want to keep one eye on Mr. Reed, who I don't trust at all, and my other eye trying to scan the environment, because I am full of what I like to call patelanoia, which is patel and paranoia.
Brilliant. This is perfect. Nate is staring directly at the stone.
I'm not too close to him, I imagine, because he's coming in, and are we by the stone?
Yes.
So we're by the stone. If I see him staring at it, I'm going to kind of hold out a hand, not do anything, just almost kind of pointing, not in an aggressive, magical way, but just so he knows I'm addressing him. Mr. Reed, what are you doing now?
Okay, how many people are there?
There are 4 Republican agitators as well as DC Wood and DS Cadwallader.
4 miscreants. I think Nate's instincts get the better of him. He's going to tackle 2 of them.
You're going to just start bolting down towards them.
Mm-hmm.
Brilliant. He doesn't respond to you and just starts running down the aisle basically towards you.
Can I tell? Oh, I think I'm going to do something.
Oh dear.
I've just asked him what he's doing. These guys have burst in. I can see DC Wood. I can see that she's using magic there. He's making a scene of himself. I'm going to use Impello Palmer and just kind of knock him to the side.
Give me a magic roll.
That is 27 under 60, so that's a hard success. Creates an invisible hand-like force that can be used to swat objects and people, such as knocking a book, slapping a person. I am a master at this, though.
All right, so I need a hard strength roll, Nate, to stay upright as this Impello Palmer comes slamming into you.
Can I try a dodge?
Yeah, sure. It will also need to be a hard dodge roll.
It is a regular. It is not anywhere close to a hard.
You get slammed into the pews of this abbey as the stone plinks harmlessly off of the bulletproof glass that was surrounding the stone, and blue paint slams into the glass. But as the blue paint covers it, Isabelle, you turn around to watch the stone slowly begin to sink down into the ground under the mile.
Sir, the stone's sinking.
I'm still keeping an eye on Mr. Reed over my shoulder. What's that, DC Wood? What are you talking about now?
The stone, sir. Someone's stealing it, or it's sinking into the ground. Something strange is happening.
Mr. Reed.
And she's just running for the cabinet.
Stay there.
Nate is in a tangle with the pew he was thrown into. Not me, damn it, stop him.
Turn round, and then I'm going to run up to Isabelle and where the stone was.
Sense Vestigia from the two of you, please.
Oh, that's a 13, so that's a hard success.
Mine's a 42, so it's just a normal success.
You feel familiar things. Order. The cobblestones. A shipwreck floating out to sea. The reddened face of someone as they've just been slapped. All things that you associate with the mile. It's really strong here. It's like being slapped in the face yourself.
So as in the boy.
Well, Isabelle, you know him as Mile, the boy.
Yeah.
Rhodri, you have just got second-hand interpretations of this Vestigia, but it is the one from the original theft. It's the one that always permeates the Mile. It is the new child, the Mile.
Izzy's just going to yell, Mile, no! No, this is naughty! This is your Auntie Izzy! Don't do this, please!
It's about 20 minutes later, after Nate got up, he helped you put handcuffs on the 4 Republican agitators who unsuccessfully attempted to paint the stone. They are being processed by some of the uniforms, and Nogach is standing with her arms crossed, staring at where the stone was.
Well, it's very easy to explain and to see how no one could have really have stopped this one, Nogach. So...
Cadwallader.
Yes?
It's the bloody stone of Scone. The fucking king is meant to be crowned on it in 48 fucking hours. And you know who really thinks that crowns are important? The fucking 4th Cadwallader, that's who. I'm not going to be going to talk to 4th about this. I no longer have to deal with this fucking bullshit magic. You, Cadwallader, can go and explain to 4th that her fucking crowning that she managed to force the fucking King of Britain to do for her is not going ahead. You are going to go and talk to her, and then you are going to track down the fucking Stone of Scone and take it from whatever fucking child has stolen it, and you are going to return it so this can go ahead so we don't all lose our fucking jobs, Cadwallader. Is that clear?
Right. No, yes. I mean, that's, yeah, very clear. Very clear.
It's out.
Right. And he'll, like, scuttle out, almost skipping out quickly, like a naughty child. DC Wood? Mr. Reed?
Yes, sir?
Well, Nogach's asked if we could tidy this up a little bit, and make things right before the king's crowned.
I'm guessing we heard the actual exchange.
I think the entire force heard the exact exchange, although they're not entirely understanding of it. But I think you get the broad strokes there.
So, I think given this very important responsibility, and it's Falcon, isn't it? So it really is, down to us. We're very honoured to take this one on. It's such a big deal, I think it'd be very good for us, put St. Ninian's on the map a bit more, a bit of reputation and that. So, right, I'm open to ideas.
I think we've already got a reputation, sir.
No, you're right.
Reed is concentrating really hard on Rhodri. Those big brows are furrowed, watching you speak. It's possibly the first time that you suspect he's been reading your lips this entire time. He's an American. He's never met anybody from Wales before.
I can offer translation services if you require, Mr. Reed. I have to do it with the Pixies.
You seem to be looking at me very intently, Mr. Reed. Is there something I've got on my face now?
No, just want to make sure nothing's lost in translation.
Right. Well,
I do owe you both a quiet apology. You get your orders, I get mine.
What exactly were your orders?
That was coming.
What? You knew that was coming, did you?
Some of the folks back where I come from get glimpses of the future, and sometimes things have to happen. I don't know why, but I'm here to help you recover it.
You're aware you've just proposed something rather big there, Mr. Reed, Even if we were to forget for a moment that you've just proposed that there's a predetermined fate, you know? I think I need a cup of coffee. I'm kind of waving at one of the uniformed
John Beccatelli is definitely nearby.
Begatelli. Wicked.
Let's just take you for a cup of coffee.
But he's right there, and he loves it, you know.
No, he doesn't. Sir.
Right, sorry.
I need to make peace with you two. I will go get the coffee.
We'll go with you, you know, and we're...
I think we all ought to probably leave and come up with a plan.
Right, if we go and grab a coffee, maybe, you know, we add a biscuit or something like that, and I think that's a good apology, isn't it? Don't worry, Begatelli, we'll have a coffee later.
Stares at you. And let's say that it is 20 minutes later. We're back at the manse. It's nearly 1 a.m. You've managed to run out of sugar. The pixies have nicked it all, and you're sitting with your coffees in the smoking parlor, which is this room that you've just about managed to set up with some computers and access to the internet. And you've managed to basically build a wall between this and the rest of the building such that magic can occur without any major issues. You have Taggart up and running if you so wish.
Oh, yes.
Or you can do any other research or have any other discussions, but you probably only really have one action before you're all going to crash for the night.
I just want to know whether this has ever happened before, a double coronation. I mean, I know the Stone of Stone's been stolen before. That's a big thing. It was missing for a while, wasn't it? But has there ever been this double coronation? And are there any records that we have access to that suggest that it was a magical thing?
Sure. Roll a research roll.
Oh, that's a 61. I will spend the point of luck to make that a success.
So the Union of Crown happened in 1707, and that was the Scottish king becoming the English king. And so James was definitely crowned in Scotland. And after that, a quick check of Wikipedia tells you that it's been a little haphazard. The honours of Scotland were lost for most of the 18th century. They were rediscovered in the 19th century, and there was some attempts to start it up again, and it has been inconsistent for the past 200 years.
I imagine whilst Isabelle is doing worthwhile research, Rhodri is probably pacing the room, talking to Nathan, who might well be doing something completely different, just kind of going, but right, you don't understand. What you said to me means that there is fate, which means there is a predetermined native action. So what you're saying is...
You're giving me a headache there, sir.
So what you're saying is everything we're doing is we're supposed to be doing, so it has been done before. Is that what you're saying, Nathan? Because I can't quite get my head around the fact that we're supposed to be here doing this and we're not making our own choices. Like, what if I did this? And I pick up a sugar cube and, like, throw it on the floor. Did you always know that was going to happen? And if so, did you know this was going to happen? And I point at the sugar cube.
Pixie steals it.
Did you know that was going to happen, did you, Nathan?
Sir, absolutely anybody who lives in this house knows that was going to happen.
How are you getting on with that computer? Have you found anything out yet?
Well, obviously James VI of Scotland became James I of England. He had 2 coronations. Other than that, it's a bit here, there and everywhere. There's no consistent pattern.
Right. So, what are the facts that we know? Let's lay them out, nice and tidy, so we can put them together. I like whisper to Isabelle, but probably loud enough for Nathan to hear. We need to make it look like we really mean business, you know? In America, they have all those boards with, like, red lines and things between them, you know?
Whatever you say, sir.
Nate can't hear that, but he's still reading Rhodri's lips, so he picks it up. Don't worry. A lot more organized here than we are back home.
That's quite a terrifying thought.
You're right, we are very organised.
The US doesn't have a folly, it just has offices here and there scattered about, usually in the basement.
So, Isabelle, with our organisation...
Yes, sir.
We are looking for the Stone of Stone.
We are, sir. I think we really need to think about what we're going to say to Lady Forth when we go to see her, and how big a present we're taking with us. I mean, you've met her. What does she like?
I was just about to say, Keeper, how much of that do I remember? Because it was a very, from what I remember as a player, a very beautiful experience, almost enamoured, very kind of drawn in by her presence. And I remember bits of it, but
Sure. So I'll give you information anyway, but give me a research roll to see if you're getting a little bit more.
Oh, 28 on 30. So just.
Brilliant. So you remember a very regal looking woman. She spoke to you pleasantly. She had a crown on her head. She made you feel special. With that success, you have done a little bit of digging since then. You've been making friends with Union. You've had a couple of conversations with Leith. You've been getting the lay of the land. Fourth is powerful, not just in a demimon sense, but in a much more mundane sense as well. She owns a lot of the land along the Forth. She is wealthy beyond reason. She is the largest landholder in Scotland. So she is in effect the person behind the Cluth property, which is the largest shareholder of land in Scotland. She is a bit of an enigma. You know, she lives in a place called Queensferry, which is about 10 miles outside of Edinburgh. It's a small village. And you're scared of her in a way that it's hard to be scared of Leith. With Leith, you can sort of control it and you can sort of have a conversation. With Forth, it's hard to even hold on to your sense of self when you're inside her glamour.
Okay, I'm going to relay some, if not all of this. Isabelle is fine with, but with Nathan in the room as well, and him being our American friend, I think discussing all the details about Forth to someone who's not actually a part of our force, I just want to be careful because they've said about having all of our files, and I know Isabelle and I both shared a look when we found that out. But I think the thing that Rhodri communicates is about the power and, you know, how much a step up from Leith Forth is. But also, I really want to communicate to both Isabelle and Nathan about the glamour. And is it Lady Forth? Is that how we refer to her?
The Lady of the Forth, yes.
The Lady of the Forth, she was very gentle with me, and I can tell you, it took everything for me to hold it together. And I'm a, established Newtonian practitioner. Isabelle, I think, given the right personal mental preparation going in, you should do fine, but, just be on your guard, be wary, Nathan, Mr. Reed, obviously you know this world. Have you met those of, shall we say, higher level status within the Demi-Monde?
I work alongside Potomac on a few rounds with Hudson, but your Forth sounds a bit more like Mississippi.
Mississippi? What's a big river, that, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Right, okay. Well, it sounds like there's a comparable experience to a degree, and you were able to hold your own, have you, against Hudson's glamour?
More or less.
Nathan, am I right in thinking that you're not a practitioner?
Call me Nate. I haven't counted the stuff, but don't have a head for it myself.
Too much iron in your blood, is it? Is there a reason why, or you're just not really that fussed?
I don't know. He starts telling you a story about a few years back when he was active military, when he was in battle somewhere, trying to rescue some people from a collapsing building, and a wall came down on top of him. And it was just him and one buddy, and one person's not going to be able to lift a wall. And suddenly his friend was blasting the wall to pieces to get him out.
Right, okay, so, exposure and revelation,
Said friend died of cancer about 6 months later.
Right. I was very sorry to hear that, Nathan. That's very tough. Well, listen, sounds like you're one of us now. We often say here in St. Ninian's Manse, I think it's a house rule, isn't it, Isabelle, What's said in St. Ninian's Manse, stays in St. Ninian's Manse, We say that all the time, don't we, Isabelle?
If you say so, sir, yes.
At least 2-3 times a day we say that. So, Nathan, you're happy with that?
Absolutely. In my line of work, there's secrets within secrets.
Right.
You're not kidding.
And I think with that last comment and bringing of our investigators together, we finish part 1 of our new case file, Stone of Scone.
I am definitely turning up to Mama Forth with as many tins of Walker's Petticoat Tail shortbread as I can get my mitts on.
Steve, you killed me with Mississippi.
I like he's calling him Rodney. I think that's brilliant.
It's perfectly in keeping.